Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to PWRB, the Booker. It's Night of Champions Sunday,
It's
David
the
Hero.
NOC.
It's Knock Sunday.
Yeah.
Davey Nelson standing alongside David Hero, and what we do in this show is talk to you about how we think the pay-per-view is going to go. That pay-per-view tonight, Night of Champions, I believe it's in Detroit, Michigan.
It is in Detroit.
Detroit.
That's the French say Detroit.
Why wouldn't they? Why book the Joe for this one? Just do it on 8 Mile. Or do it on Hardcore Pawn.
Ooh, they've had some matches there, haven't they?
They have had some matches there.
Yes.
Blew my cap there. The first match we're going to talk about is going to be a match for the Tag Team Championships of the world. It will be the Shield defending against, obviously, Reigns and Rollins, defending against the winners of Tag Team Turmoil.
Which I believe is going to be the Usos.
Makes some sense. Usos versus the Real Americans versus Team 3MB versus Tons of Funk will happen on the pre-show.
And let's not forget primetime players will be involved also.
Yes, they will be.
It's a gauntlet style, yeah. But the Usos, they're getting the Real Diva TV show rub. They were involved in the SmackDown with the Shield. Mm-hmm. Usos.
Makes some sense.
Yes.
Makes some sense. Will there be new tag team champions in the
Absolutely not, because they are part of the. They are now a part of the new corporation, and the Shield are rolling. They're a legitimate tag team. Well, they're all legitimate tag, but they're the ones right now that the company's going with.
Who would have thought that in this day and age, WWE would have a better tag team division than TNA, which had a tremendous tag team division? The Shield an actual team. The Usos an actual team. Real Americans thrown together, but it makes a ton of sense. Primetime players, pretty much been a team their entire time, aside from the Nexus days. Who would have thought?
Tons of Funk.
Well, they were thrown together as well. That was a mistake.
No, it wasn't. That was comedy genius.
Failed as a character, so they had to put him with...
He did not. He was never given the proper opportunity.
Okay, so it wasn't his fault, but it's other times it's the wrestler's fault.
Absolutely.
Divas Championship on the line. AJ Lee will defend her title against 3 other women. Natalia Neidhart, Brie Bella, and Naomi.
Yes.
One of the Funkadactyls.
I think these 3 ladies right here are going to implode on each other. They're the divas.
Like we saw on SmackDown?
Yes, and I honestly think AJ Lee will leave Night of Champions the Divas champion.
Doesn't she have to?
She needs to.
She's red hot in all ways, shapes, and forms. Microphone in the ring, and she is the Divas champion.
These 3 stars are already over. Put some more heat on AJ.
Makes a lot of sense. CM Punk versus Curtis Axel and Paul Heyman. It is a handicapped elimination matchup, meaning if Curtis Axel is defeated by CM Punk, he then has to go against Paul Heyman. Same thing. Heyman could be defeated, and then it's Punk and Axel. One thing's for sure, the Intercontinental Championship not on the line
because
in this
Punk
pay-per-view
doesn't
matchup.
want that belt.
Why would he not want that championship?
Because it's not going to fit in his refrigerator.
The championship has not even been discussed as it pertains to this matchup.
Right.
Which I think is key because it's not needed.
Listen, he hasn't even been discussed.
Knocking the board over for. Calm down.
He hasn't even been discussed. It's Heyman versus Punk. That's where the money is. That's what people want to see.
Well, it's that payoff you always talk about, people wanting.
Right,
it's a good thing,
I don't know if Punk gets the payoff yet.
Really?
I honestly believe that Paul Heyman will have something else up his sleeve. Maybe another client.
You mentioned that on Primetime this Saturday.
I really believe that Heyman and Axel have a very good chance of defeating CM Punk to set up Hell in a Cell. You need 2 main events for Hell in a Cell.
And there has to be shenanigans to get to that Hell in a Cell
And there does, yes.
I asked you before, you didn't have an answer. Do you have an answer here a day later? Who might that person be?
You know what? I could see a Ryback. I could see a Ryback being in there.
Okay.
And you know what? It could be somebody we've never seen before. It could be somebody from the NXT being brought up.
Bo Dallas and I forget
Sami
the other name.
Zayn or Sami Callihan.
And several people being used on house shows recently from WWE, from NXT. So that's a very good point, David Hero.
That's what you pay me for, is good points.
So you say who wins? Heyman?
I think Heyman and Axel, yes.
Makes a lot of sense. World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Rob Van Dam will take on Alberto Del Rio with the numero uno amigo.
No.
He has been banned from ringside.
He is banned from ringside. Now it's a one-on-one match. ADR. I just can't see Rob Van Dam becoming the world champion. I can't see a guy coming in. I can't see the guy coming in from TNA Impact Wrestling, who was their X Division champion, coming in to now becoming the world champion.
You're talking from WWE standpoint, from your booking standpoint, or from a fan standpoint?
From my standpoint and from WWE standpoint.
I would disagree with you in this case. They've gotten a lot out of RVD.
They have.
They pushed him as a top star since coming into WWE.
So when he beats RVD, it means that much more.
Why do you treat championships like hot potatoes?
I don't. I'm saying he's going to keep the title. I'm
you're
saying they're
saying,
going to
though,
keep the
but
title.
if he
I'm
weren't,
saying
then
they're going to
win.
keep the title. He's going to keep
So
his
Night
belt.
of Champions, no title changes hands. We talked about, you said Daniel Bryan's not going to win either on
Nope,
Prime
Daniel
Time.
Bryan will lose. Lose to Randy Orton.
We expect to see a couple of matches added to this broadcast. It could be a match with Dean
Randy
Ambrose and
Orton,
Dolph Ziggler.
Randy Orton retaining will be my DWHS moment of the night.
You are speaking that Daniel Bryan will not
He
win
will
that
not
matchup.
leave the champion.
The Miz versus Fandango also rumored
He
to be
might win
taking
by
place
DQ,
tonight.
but he's not going to leave as the champion.
Do you want to see the Miz or Misco Inferno?
I don't want to see either one of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Be the Booker, where David Hero has said if he had the pencil, if you will, for
Well, I
this
did. It was the green
pay-per-view,
marker.
that the Shield would defeat the Usos, who would win the 5-team tag team turmoil matchup on the pre-show. AJ would retain the Divas Championship over Natalya, Brie, and Naomi. CM Punk would lose to the efforts of Paul Heyman and the shenanigans of Paul Heyman. RVD losing to ADR. And as we talked about on Primetime, Daniel Bryan does not get his hands on the WWE
Look
Championship
at how
again.
the landscape has been written on Raw and SmackDown. The bad guys have been running all over the good guys for the last month. All of the champions are held by the bad guys.
True.
Okay.
Is this pay-per-view no more of the road bump to Hell in a Cell? It's a setup. It's almost like the go-home Raw to Hell in a Cell.
It really is. I don't think people... Night of Champions doesn't mean as much as it used to be anymore, but Hell in a Cell is going to be a huge...
Why are people buying it? Is it for Punk Heyman, and is it for what you've DWHS?
I think they're buying it for Punk
Bryan
Heyman and
and
also buying it for Orton and Daniel Bryan.
That is Be the Booker tonight. Night of Champions on pay-per-view, ladies and gentlemen. Follow along with us on Twitter and on our Facebook page, facebook.com/PWR show. And you got a little bit of time between now and the pay-per-view, so backtrack, if you will, and check out last night's PWR Primetime Television, where we talk in-depthly about the main event matchup between Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan. We'll see you again tomorrow for PWR Monday as we preview WWE Raw coming off the heels of Night of Champions. Until then, for that one, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for joining us for PWR Sunday.